studios in New York City. This is Charlie Rose.
Keanu Reeves is here. He was born in Beirut and raised in Toronto. Began his career on the stage, appearing in such plays as The Tempest and The Crucible. Convinced he wouldn't find a film career in Canada, he moved to Los Angeles at 20. He first came to audiences' attention with his critically acclaimed performance as an alienated teenager in the 1987 film The River's Edge. Since then, he has become one of Hollywood's busiest actors, appearing in more than 35 films. Yet his choices have not always been conventional. He has balanced blockbuster action films like Speed and The Matrix and smaller independent films like My Own Private Idaho and The Last Time I Committed Suicide. This month he came and seen in two films, The Gift and Sweet November. I am pleased to have him here for the very first time. Welcome.
Thank you, sir.
I really am pleased to have you here.
Thanks.
Did I say that about right? Did you recognize yourself?
I did, actually, and that sounded, it sounded very familiar, all of that, yeah.
So where do you put The Gift in all of this sort of going back and forth between?
Where do I put it?
Well, I tell you where I put it. I put it with a great co-star, Kate Blanchett, and a great director.
Yeah.
That would have been enough for me right there.
Yeah, I mean, it was, and Giovanni Ribisi and Hilary Swank, and it was an incredible cast, and I'm a fan of Sam Raimi's, and when I read the script and when I saw the part and, met with Mr. Raimi to play it, it was very exciting, just trying to, because for me it was, at the time right now, it was, I consider it a break. It was it's a part that I haven't had a chance to play recently, and so it was for me it was a great, as an actor, just a great opportunity to do something like that.
Tell me about the part.
Donnie Barksdale. Can I swear on the show?
Yes, of course.
I can?
Yes.
Well, I called him Donnie Motherfucking Barksdale, and because and what about him? Well, he's cast as he's a wife beater.
Yeah, he's a monstrous man.
Well, I call him a good husband. And that's what yes, a loving husband who, his wife is going to a card reader, who Kate Blanchett is playing, and, who's meddling in my marriage.
Right.
And I want to stop that. And Donnie is, he likes to use his physical power. He likes to overwhelm like that. And so going into that and learning about that was quite a journey.
How did you do it?
Well, at first when I got to, we filmed in Savannah, Georgia. When I got there, I met up with some people who deal with spousal abuse, and I kind of wanted to find out clinically how they define it and what goes on, some of the dynamics there. And found out that the male is oftentimes abused physically, emotionally.
Yeah. Frequently. And
yeah.
And you go back and you find out as a child there was a problem.
Yeah, and it's just, and through that is a kind of helplessness. And generally, sometimes I say psychologically that they're impotent in being able to help either the mother or themselves, and they lose a kind of voice, and that this is clinically, I have no idea, but anyway, so where I came from was that they can't express themselves, and they have no kind of way to deal with what they're feeling except through, with an intends to be just in that spousal.
Except by inflicting violence on someone else.
Yeah, but generally their spouse or partner. In the normal world,
somebody
they
have
love. And they have no problems dealing with being under a woman, say in business. There's nothing like that. I mean, generally it can be like, and they tend to be charming and don't like to get. I mean, there's so many things we could go on. I could go on for a while, but and then for me, it was just when we were getting there, just to deal with. I remember Sam Raimi. We had a wonderful improvisation trying to find the relationship. Hilary and I and Sam's trailer in Savannah, and he was like, "Okay, let's spend a little evening with the Donnie Barksdales here." And I had to confront my wife Hilary about seeing this card reader, who's meddling. And she'd say, "I didn't see her, Donnie, and we're just friends." I said, "You're lying," and I kept saying, "You're lying." And Sam said, "Okay, you're negotiating with her. Every time you say you're lying, hit her." And so that was that's where we learned about what goes on there.
Do you do this kind of preparation for most roles, or only those that you think have some richness that you can find out and get inside the head of a character?
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's what you try to do. You know, understand and you know, discover for yourself. You know, either, you know, what is the person thinking? What are they feeling? What are the circumstances? And whatever it takes to do that.
Is this the first film he's made since? Who was the last one?
It was Kevin Costner.
A Simple Plan. Yeah.
Oh, was it A Simple Plan?
Yeah.
And then he had For the Love of the Game. Did that come? Yeah, it came after Simple Plan, I think.
Roll tape. Here's a clip.
Where you going, son? You want to ride in the truck? I got a question for you. You know my wife, Valerie? She been around to see your mama lately? Hey, boy, I asked you a question. Give me my hat. You know, I feel sorry for you and your brothers. I mean, your mama being a witch and all. If she don't stop her evil ways, someday somebody's gonna burn her up. And then you boys are gonna be without a daddy or a mama.
Hey, Miller, you all right?
He said Mom was a witch and not gonna burn her up.
Oh, he did?
Buddy, you better mind your own business.
I intend to, Donnie.
I intend to, Donnie.
I intend to, Donnie.
You seem to be, to me, an actor who, in a sense, could do a lot of things, but you choose and in a sense, you're basically saying, I'm going to do this on my own terms. I mean, everybody knows about your love of music, and that you have made at critical times, you know, a preferred choice to play music rather than act, or is that simply not true?
No, that's not true. No.
Not true.
Not true. No. That kind of was born, I believe, sometimes out when a while back there was a film. They were going to do a sequel to Speed.
Oh yeah. Right.
And I think then that turned into, because when I decided not to do it, that became, well, he wants to play his music and not do that. But that wasn't.
It was,
the
in
case.
fact, you just didn't want to do the film.
Yeah, I couldn't do the film. I was in the state that I was in. I had just
What
done
do you
an
mean, the state
I
you
had just
in?
done an action film, and I
Yeah.
was basically tired of running.
Yeah.
And the script was not up to par, etc. I mean, long story, but yeah, I mean, it's been one of my hopes to be able to act in different genres and to play different, you know, different kinds of parts. You know.
But you have that now, don't you? I mean, don't you? You can do that. I mean, you're saying it's your hope, but you.
I hope I'm
it's
trying
within
to.
your hands.
Well, as much as it can be. I mean, I still, you know, I'm not producing the films, you know, so you still kind of, you know, have your begging bowl out, and you know, hopefully can have that happen.
Are
can
you
work
going
that.
after films? I mean, are you in pursuit of roles that you hear about or you know about, and that you say, that's one I want to do?
Yeah, I have in the past. Right now, I'm in The Matrix. We started training for The Matrix, and so that's. But in the past,
You're
you know,
doing what?
there's a film. I did a film called The Matrix,
right.
and
They're gonna do another one.
yeah, they're going to do two at the same time. And we just started training. We've been training for about 2 months, and we have
Training means rehearsal, or training means something else?
There's some. They have kung fu sequences,
Yeah.
fighting action sequences that they want us to be able to perform. So I have about 5 months of training for that.
Yeah.
So, but before then, yes, I mean, yes, definitely trying to, you know, there's this part. There's you know, my manager Erwin Stoff and I just try to keep our eyes out for different kinds of films. You know, different scales, different, you know, topics and
But you seem to be
parts.
positioned where you'd like to be. Or not.
Today, things, you know, knock on wood, you
But
know, are okay.
What
so.
would you want you don't have?
Oh my God! Well, how long is the show?
Just give me a couple of.
Give them a no.
Yeah.
What would I say to that?
Yeah.
What do I want that I don't have? Well, you know, it's just I'm very grateful for what's happening today. You know, I've got a, you know, I'm participating in a wonderful film and working with great people, and hopefully those kinds of will make a good film. I mean, really, it's about hopefully that, you know, the things that I work in can, you know, when I see the film, will be like, oh, okay, that's why I did it. You know, sometimes you'll do something and you look at it and it's like, what happened to the film that I was in? You know, but
The Matrix did well.
yeah, people really enjoyed it.
Yeah, but do you want to do it again because it's a great commercial success, or because you like the character and
I love the character. I love the scripts that Larry and Andrew Wachowski, the writers and directors, have created. You know, the people I work with.
And who's back from the original film?
Hugo Weaving, Lawrence Fishburne, Carrie-Anne Moss.
Fishburne's back, okay.
Yeah, he played Morpheus, a character in that, yeah.
And what kind of training are you doing?
Movie kung fu training. More training, more pain. Stretching,
But it's
kicking.
good for you.
That's what they keep telling me.
Do they really?
Yes, but in
Well, you don't wanna
training pain is good.
They keep saying training and pain is good, or
Right,
pain
when
is
you
good in training.
Yes, when you have pain, it's good training. And not pain like broken bones or anything, but just
Feel the pain.
feel the pain.
All right.
And the thing is, give gift. If you have the gift of pain, then what you receive. It's crazy.
If you
like-
give them pain,
Right.
they'll give you.
you'll be able to
You'll be a better
perform.
person.
You'll be a better
There you go. Just
suffering
to show
for
you
our
how very agile we are at this, we have a clip from The Matrix.
You do?
Yes. Roll tape.
I know kung fu.
Show me.
This is a sparring program, similar to the programmed reality of The Matrix.
It has the same basic rules, rules like gravity. What you must learn is that these rules are no different than the rules of a computer system. Some of them can be bent. Others can be broken. Understand? Then hit me, if you can.
My God.
It's beautiful,
It
isn't it?
is.
It's beautiful. It's
I
beautiful.
mean, you've gotten something from this.
Yeah. Yeah. But when I speak about it, one of the best things I got was just the relationships with the people I worked with, with Lawrence.
Let me just stay with The Matrix for a second.
Sure.
Why not?
Why not?
Yeah. Is it easier for you because you're simply taking your character, which you've already created,
Right.
you know, just taking him to another adventure? So therefore, this is considerably easier than starting from the beginning.
Oh gosh, I wish it was that easy, Charlie. I wish it was that. Actually, I don't wish it was that easy. Yes.
You don't wish it was that easy.
I don't wish it was that easy, actually. But no, I mean that's when we were starting training. I was speaking to everyone, and I was like, we've gone through something, but we cannot assume that we know what we're doing. Not to cut out our past experience, but to come afresh and anew to these. And I guess I was really talking to myself, maybe, but just that you can't assume anything.
All right, let me talk about Sweet November first. We got a couple of clips here. Tell me about this.
Thanks. Sweet November is a film directed by Pat O'Connor,
Right.
and it stars myself and Charlize Theron, and a romance.
Yes.
And I guess the premise is about a woman who gets involved in relationships with men for a month at a time to try and heal them. And I play a ad executive who is very work-oriented to the sacrifice of his capability or desire for intimacy, for any kind of compassion. He's just a very driven person. And she decides to try to help me, as she says. And I
Charlize is
say,
gonna help.
yes, she's going to help me. And I'm like, I don't need any help.
Yeah.
You know, which of course I do. And eventually I kind of have a nervous breakdown and come to nothing. And that's when I agree to spending a month with her, and it's about what happens.
Then what happens? That's the movie.
Well, that's the film, and then I don't know. What happens is that there's a plot twist, and it turns out that she's ill, and I guess in the end it's about choices.
And how people can help each other.
Yes.
Roll tape. This is a scene right after Nelson, your character, and Sarah, Charlie, meet for the first time within the context of what we just said. Here it is.
Can I help you?
Can you help me?
Yeah. That's your van, isn't it?
Is this your car? Wow.
You
Nice.
can't drive. Right.
No.
And this is the way that you... Right. How much do you make a month? Doesn't look like much. I'll cover your expenses. Here. Call my secretary. We'll work it out.
This quest for redemption, is it coming from true remorse, or are you just scared my sitting on your car is going to cause a big dent?
The den.
That's what I thought. What are you doing?
Buying redemption.
Redemption's not for sale today. Sorry.
Charlize.
Charlize Theron.
Charlize. You're working with very good people. Between Kate Blanchett and Charlize Theron.
Oh my gosh, that's those are two of the finest actresses I've ever worked with.
Yeah. How do you feel about
Charlize is radiant in this picture.
She's
I mean, really, some of the best work I've ever seen.
Yeah. How do you feel about all this?
Well, Charlie, that's a long story. That I don't know. The guy doesn't look too happy.
No, he doesn't.
He's kind of like, he's like, what do you want?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I mean, do you do this because you want to, or you do this because it's good for you, or you do this because it's part of what you do? I mean, people would kill to be on the cover of Vanity Fair.
Right. Well, I wanted to kill when I was on the cover of Vanity Fair, but it was a different dynamic.
A different reason.
No. I feel lucky.
Yeah, I knew we'd get somewhere with this.
Yeah. So we haven't been anywhere before, then, huh, Charlie? I need a drink.
No. I mean,
no, I'm kidding.
No.
But no, I consider it. It's for me. It's a part of work.
Right.
It's a part of work.
Zen and the art of Keanu Reeves. There's more to him.
More to me.
More to him
than
just sex, drugs, rock and roll.
You know.
And what is that more to him other than
I guess
sex?
it's the Zen part.
Yes. Oh, that's right.
I guess. I don't know.
And what's the Zen part?
The Zen. They said it.
But is it true?
Absolutely not.
There's
none of that's actually true.
None of it. Look at this.
Absolutely none of it.
Keanu from both sides now. Provides truly fanatic devotion and some extreme resentment, but why, after making 35 movies, including two of the 90s biggest action blockbusters, Speed and The Matrix, he is a Hollywood model of humble integrity, a low-key dude whose idea of fun is going to marry Kentucky with his band Dog Star.
Oh, my gosh.
With 3 new Reeves movies on deck and 2 Matrix sequels to follow, 36-year-old star talks to Ned Zeman about Keanu mania. Why he's great in some parts.
If I read that, I couldn't put it down.
Is that right?
I was just sucked.
You just said, "Give me this."
Oh my
man! This is a page turner, isn't it?
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Get me to the sex and drugs and rock and roll.
But tell me about the music, though. I mean, is the music a part of your life? Is it a serious part of your life?
Well, I've been in
Dog
the
Star
band.
is a big deal for you.
Well, I've been playing in the band for about 6-7 years.
Yeah.
So yes, it's been great. Just the fraternité of the band, and to tour and to have, the graded, journeys that the band has taken, places that we've gone. Touring the States. We've toured the States like 4 times. Been to Japan 4 times. Been to Europe, and some of the incredible situations we find ourselves in, and being on a tour bus and leading that kind of pirate life once in a while.
Yeah.
And more than that, just to be able to play shows and with the band and people. And
is it in any way more
and writing.
satisfying than acting?
No.
No. I mean, acting is what satisfies you the
When
most.
acting goes, for me, it's a kind of liberation. When it goes well, it's just it's a kind of liberation, and happy.
How often? I mean, is that like it's if you
It
play?
happens once. Excuse me.
No,
Sorry.
no.
No, go ahead.
No. I mean, is it like sports? You know, when you know you. People will say about golf. I mean,
Right.
you'll
The
just be so
perfect swing.
frustrated, and you'll have a perfect. You'll hit it in the sweet spot, and it's like the sheer feeling of that brings you back and back and back.
Yeah, I mean, I've never experienced that, but that sounds familiar.
Okay, but tell me, you have experienced it in acting.
Yes, definitely.
And what is it in acting? I mean, tell me about what it is in acting that's equivalent to what we just said in terms of sport.
Well, it's, I guess it's a loss of self. I mean, it's a kind of liberation of where there's just a moment. And for me, in that moment, there's a kind of elation, and there's
But I mean,
a communion and something that just completely unconscious and completely, the word that I just keep using is liberated. There's just, and it's just.
And the connection to the character and where the character is.
and the interplay and I don't know. I guess in the moment of that, pretend. I don't know.
But is it? I mean, is it something? I mean, forgive my naivete. Is it something that you pursue? I mean, is that what you're looking for, or is that something you say if you get that, you just? I mean, you thank God you got it and that's it. But you can't pursue it because it's unachievable. It just happens because of a confluence of all the right things.
Yeah. I mean, you can. And you can hope that it happens. That's what you kind of. That's I guess why that's all that. Everything that goes into being in that moment, everything that one works on before that moment, goes into that time, and hopefully, if you do feel that means that it's an authentic connection, and that at that moment we are communicating something, about our humanity, about being alive, about, and that doesn't, and that could be in a moment of comedy, that could be in a dramatic moment, that could be in a gesture,
Do you find it in music too, occasionally?
Yeah. There's certain times when we've written songs where the band is just, where we don't know where we're going, but we're creating something. Or there've been times when we've played a show where I could feel the unity of the band and the audience, which is quite exhilarating.
Who were the shaping influences on you growing up?
The shaping influences.
Yeah, I mean, who made a difference for you?
I guess it started with some of the teachers I had. Yeah, when I was a kid, certain teachers, the way that they treated me, the way they allowed me to be in acting, Carol Rosenfeld, and certain teachers that I worked with.
Was this after you came to Los Angeles? Or
No,
before?
this is all in Toronto. I started, I guess I was like 15, 16 when I put myself into an acting class, working out of Uta Hagen's Respect for Acting.
I mean, I don't know Uta Hagen. Is that a book or is that
it's a book she wrote about
called
acting.
Respect for Acting?
Respect for Acting. And I just remember being, 16, youngest person in this class at 7 o'clock at night in Toronto, and just trying to figure it out, just because I wanted to act. But so some teachers that I had, and
Your dad left home early.
Right. So I guess
there was no father figure there.
No, and that has certainly been a major, of course, aspect.
I think people who do what, it just seems to me, I mean, I didn't really know what I was going to do and how, even how it's all going to turn out,
Right.
And you do things well, and life has been good to you, but boy, I admire you and people who, athletes that I know, who, when they were 7,
Right.
wanted to be an Olympic star, or who wanted to be in the Olympics, wanted to be good.
Right.
Or people like you who at 16 were so caught up with a passion for acting.
I felt lucky at the time, because I remember as we were going through school, that transition from grade school to high school, and then from high school to college, all my friends were trying to figure out what they wanted to be or how they wanted to get work.
Exactly.
And I knew. Yeah. I knew. I was just.
The other great thing about it is that, you knew, and it turned out right. So, I mean, there's still, exactly. You know, that's exactly right. I mean, and you got a chance to do it.
Yeah.
Because of talent, because of timing, because of luck, because of
all of
relationships and all that kind of stuff.
Yes,
you know?
yes.
I mean, the sheer notion of people, I mean, I think it must be maybe 1% of the population that is doing things that they love doing, have had the opportunity to do, and the test is how good you can be. I mean, that's really the test. I mean, the test is not, in other words, you have to do it. So many people, even in acting and other, don't have a chance to, to get in the arena. I mean, half the battle is getting in the arena.
Perseverance, dear my Lord, keeps honor bright. But yeah, yes, definitely perseverance, and yes, yeah, wanting to do it.
Are there classics that you'd love to do, want to do, have done?
Yeah, I'd like to play Macbeth, and I'm a little old for Romeo.
You know what Macbeth has done to people, though.
Yes, I know. I actually asked Werner Herzog one night, quite in a late night. I said, Werner, he's like, yes. I'm like, in 10 years, will you direct me in Macbeth? He's like, okay. But I don't know what I'm asking for in that. That's kind of like the,
I mean,
talk about naive. But anyway, so yes,
well,
that's one of them. Yeah.
Well, it is. I mean, I just did a long piece with Peter O'Toole in London.
And that is a man who, excuse me, when you talk about who affected me, I remember he was one of the actors that I watched as a young kid that made me want to act. When I saw The Ruling Class, I was just, there was such joy in his acting, and I was like, I want to be able to do that. Yeah. I once went backstage in London to meet him, signed like because I had worked with Bertolucci and he had worked, so I begged him and I wanted to go meet him, and so he sat in the back in his, like Egyptian slippers on.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyways, I'm sorry. So anyway,
so you finish. You finish.
No,
go ahead.
ahead.
So
Anyway,
I'll come back to it.
No, go ahead. So
Peter would
saw
love
him?
the fact that we're here talking about him. All right, but so you went backstage.
No, anyway, that's the end of the story.
Oh.
Just that he was, I'm such a fan of his, and someone that had an impact on my life with his craft and his spirit.
Macbeth was a disaster.
I hear it was
Peter
one of the
O'Toole.
biggest disasters of his.
What
did he say?
They said, there's a piece in this interview which I'll give you just to
Okay.
take home and watch on tape because you like him so much. He said that people not only said that he was bad, but said it was the worst Macbeth they'd ever seen. It was an insult to Shakespeare, to Macbeth, to the theater, to the audience, to everyone. I mean, it was almost, he said, so bad in terms of how they interpreted it.
Yeah.
That he enjoyed the fact.
Catastrophic.
It was catastrophic.
The joy of
the joy that I have made so many people so angry.
Oh, so maybe I shouldn't. I should be careful.
No,
about
well,
that
no.
one.
You should talk to Peter before you
I
do
should
it.
talk. Call him up.
And you know what I think he would say? I think Peter would say, "Do it." He would say, "Do it." I mean, his whole sense of risk and his whole sense of just go up there and do it the way you want to do it.
Right.
There's a great story he tells too about how he and Burton decided while they were doing one of their Beckett or something. They just said they're both going to do. They wanted to both do Hamlet on stage, and so O'Toole found out that Burton was going to do it in New York, directed by Gielgud.
Wow.
So this was going to be, I think Gielgud, and in New York. And it was a famous Burton Hamlet in, I think, 1964.
Right, I remember that, yeah.
Famous, in fact, there's sort of copies now that they filmed his performance on stage and get it in black and white at video stores.
Really? Wow.
So O'Toole went to Olivier, who'd been trying to get him to come to the National.
Right.
And O'Toole said, there's something I've always wanted to do.
Yes.
Would you direct me in Hamlet?
Right.
And he said, I will if you'll do this for
Right,
me.
something,
And
right.
so therefore he got to do Hamlet, and they were doing Hamlet.
Dueling
one
Hamlets.
in London, dueling Hamlets.
Fantastic.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
Richard Burton in New York and Peter O'Toole.
There's
And
a.
Gielgud directing one and Olivier directing the other.
And how were they received?
Very well.
Very well. I'm
Very
sure.
well.
I would love to. Oh my God. There's a story about Gielgud with who was going to play Hamlet, and there's all the actors are around the table, and they're opening the script, and it's John Gielgud, and he's playing, and he's sitting there, and they open it, this young actor has the first line, "Who's there?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "Who's there?" And Gielgud supposedly said, "Oh, He's not going to do it like that, is he? The first table read. Oh, no.
The first time.
Right? He's not going to do it like, I mean, oh, my God. Anyway.
You know, the famous story about Olivier is Roddy McDowell, I think, has told this story. That maybe it was in Macbeth, maybe it was Hamlet, maybe it was whatever classic that Olivier did time after time after time. He had reached one of those moments in his performance, not just in a particular scene, but in a performance that you were talking about. And so they're rushing backstage to say, Larry, you know the story.
Yeah.
You were wonderful. You were wonderful. Yeah. And he had his head like this. And he said, why are you down? Why are you depressed? And he said, I know, but I don't know why. I don't know how. You know, I know how good it was, but I don't know if I can ever do it again.
Never again.
Congratulations to you. It's great to have you here.
Oh, thank you, sir.
It really is. I'm honored to meet you, and I admire your work a lot. Thank you.
Thanks.
Keanu Reeves, we'll be right back. Stay with us.